It's the official launch of the Nigeria Jubilee Fellows Program NJFP 2.0 by the Vice President Kashim Shettima. The fellowship is designed to tackle youth unemployment through fully paid 12-month fellowships in both public and private sector organizations.
The task before us is both serious and inspiring. The young Nigerians we seek to serve are not asking for handouts, only for a peer system that recognizes effort, rewards merit, and provides opportunity. They are ready to build if we are ready to back them.
With the scheme funded by the European Union's initial €44 million, the Vice President says an investment in the scheme to the tune of $220 million by the private sector would help take more youths out of unemployment.
I call on our partners from the private sector, the development community, and the donor ecosystem to join us in building the NJFP basket fund, a sustainable financing mechanism to secure the program's future.
Public and private sector, all the international donors would come on board. And so this call from His Excellency the Vice President is very timely.
This is a Nigerian agenda and that we are just supporting. Beyond placing university graduates and matching them with the private sector, the public sector, it is really about building a national workforce for the future.
From one panel to another, experts share the expectations of the fellowship program as a launchpad to building a national workforce and to bridge the divide between classroom knowledge and employability skills.
We should all be challenged by the fact that the EU is the one that has provided the seed funding. And they provide a reasonable amount of money, starting with €44 million. That is a challenge to other development partners that are domestic. It's also a challenge to corporate Nigeria.
The numbers that they have here, we're talking about 14,000 people from the start till now. That's a significant number of young people who've been placed in employment in corporates in Nigeria, or have been placed in some SME, or some of them have been able to get self-employment that's enhance or take advantage of the skills that they learn on the program. We need it to scale even faster.
Giving young people 1 year to be able to be brought officially into the formal work environment definitely will have its impact on employment in the country, and so we're very excited to be supporting it.
With the Nigeria Jubilee Fellows Program training and launching 14,000 youths into the job market within the last 1 year, it is hoping to do another 20,000 within another 1 year, making it 34,000 trained fellows into the labor market within 2 years. From the State House, Mary Chinda, Arise News.
Well, joining us now on the news to highlight the program's impact, lessons learned, and what to expect from the project as it enters its next phase is the European Union Ambassador to Nigeria and ECOWAS, Ambassador Gauthier Mignon. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks to you for the kind invitation.
You know, I think it was the UNDP representative at the event today that said the EU is such a generous donor to this program. And so my first question to you would be, as a major funder or a donor, why is youth employment in Nigeria so important to the EU? There's no free lunch anywhere. What's the EU standing to gain from this?
Well, youth employment is a challenge and an opportunity for Nigeria. And our interest as EU is to have a prosperous and stable partner at the core of West Africa, Nigeria. And so we want to help these young graduates who in many cases are facing issues to find a first job because many employers require previous work experience. And so this program is about giving them this first work experience by paying them a 150K per month scholarship during 12 months to be employed by a private company, most of them are SMEs, or a public organization, like state government, for instance. And for us, it's a way to help Nigeria give a perspective of future for its young people, and I think it helps the stability of the country, but it also boosts prosperity, because it's a win-win partnership. the young people, the young fellows, of course, are benefiting from the program, but also the receiving organizations, in particular the SMEs, because they are very enthusiastic, capable, committed young employees that in many cases they finally hire at the end of the 12 months.
I do gather that these are fresh, graduates. First off, where do you get them from? How do they access this program? And is the second installment, it's 2.0 that you're coming up with now. I mean, what's the success story that you can share with us that this program truly is succeeding? And is it Nigeria specific? I mean, to the extent that it solves Nigeria's socio-economic challenges.
Indeed, it's Nigeria specific. There might exist similar programs elsewhere, but this was tailor-made for Nigeria in partnership with the Office of the Vice President already 3 years ago, and with the United Nations Development Programme as implementing partner. So the EU put 44 million euros on the table to fund this, and yes, it is a success because we have already more than 14,000 beneficiaries, 14,000 fellows, and more than 7,000 alumni who are already finished the program. So in this way it's a success, but it's also not so much a success in the sense that we haven't managed to find other contributors to the program. Federal government, state governments, private donors, other international donors. And so the event today with His Excellency the Vice President and various ministers was very much about calling on other donors to contribute to upscale this program, because indeed with the EU funding we can reach 34,000 fellows, but we would like to go beyond this and reach 1,000, at least have 20,000 fellows a year over the next few years. So for this we need other donors to jump in.
How do these fresh graduates access the program? That's my
they
point.
access.
Yes,
sorry for not answering your previous question.
Understandable.
It's a very transparent and an open call for applications. Right. So there is a website, NGFP, and everybody, all graduates can apply. Then there is a selection process because there are a certain profile that is sought after, of course, and this is something that the receiving organizations have noticed, that they receive very good fellows, very capable also of improving their skills. And of course it's selective because there is a limited number of places, but it's very transparent and objective criteria. No question of being friend with someone. No, it's really about how much you comply with the criteria. And now we want in this 2.0 version also improve even more the process, in particular a smarter matching process, and also more opportunities at the end for young fellows to launch into entrepreneurship, for instance, not always be employees.
It does sound like a great program. And that brings me to my next question, because sustainability is usually the weak point of such programs. How do you ensure that it goes beyond 2.0 and beyond this administration? Also, I have to ask you, because migration the pressure of migration remains high on Europe. Supporting programs such as this, is it part of the EU strategy to keep youths back at home? Does it fit into the larger EU strategy plan to limit those migrations or stop it?
Yes, in a certain way, to a certain extent, but in fact, if you look at figures, we are not reaching a huge percentage of the youth population in Nigeria either. So it's more about giving opportunities to young people who can make a change in Nigeria. I don't think it will impact very much migration figures to Europe. So it's not the main, let's say, reason for us to fund a program like this. But it's true that my call today was about getting some more contributions to this program to ensure sustainability, because of course it's a functioning scheme, and now it has to be completely owned by Nigeria. I think that the event today showed that there is a huge buy-in from the part of the federal government, and this is very good, and also a huge buy-in from the part of fellows themselves, and also receiving organizations. We had the CEO of Sterling Bank, for instance, speaking very highly of the fellows that they've had in his company.
Quite interesting. Maybe conversely, the other side of that question that Adiso just asked is this a plan by the EU and maybe the advanced, world to have a pool of, skilled youth population that they can always, fall back on? And what lessons are you finding, learning so far in terms of the needs assessment based on, the acceptability or otherwise of this, skilled, young workforce that you're coming up with?
Well, there's no program of then exporting them, having them moving to Europe, at the end of the program. No, it's really rather to help them integrate into the Nigerian labor market. Now, most probably some of them, building on their experience, might have opportunities abroad in Europe or in North America or in other African countries or in Asia, but it's not really the focus of the program. It's really, again, it's a win-win partnership. It's also to help receiving organizations, in particular SMEs, to have a skilled and young workforce that will help these companies also develop.
Great. Thank you so much. Ambassador Gauthier Mignot is the EU ambassador to Nigeria and ECOWAS. Thank you very much for joining us on Newsnight.